Okay, so it looks like a former mentee of TD Jakes is speaking out in regards to grooming. And when you find one cockroach, you end up finding more. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and it looks like a lot is about to happen. And we might need to call the firefighters. Hey guys, it's Muradi. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Back again with another video. If you have not subscribed, click that button, guys. It is daily and consistent content. Subscribe to the channel. It's just one click. Comment down below. Thumbs up in the video. Do follow me on my Instagram at Murad_Muradi. Send us super things if you guys wish to. Let's get into this where TD Jakes, the conversation about him for the past week has been interesting. He also did speak out more when he did break, his silence on when it comes to his sermons, and he didn't really deny much, guys. He really just said that we've all done things in our past. He did say I didn't do that stuff. Everybody laughed, but of course, the words of denial, the way he was shaking and acting, it just looked very odd to me, and I feel like he was acting. That's just my personal opinion.
Referring to the black church specifically, and what that means is that there'll be a bishop, a pastor, apostle, someone who has big conferences. Everybody knows, oh my God, they're the holy man of God. And they will pick their victims and they groom them. And it first goes through stage one where they ask questions. What are you into? What do you like? You need to tell daddy everything. And
now, a former, mentee, he goes by the name of Prophet Manasseh Jordan, and the former mentee of Bishop TD Jakes has spoken out, and he is speaking out about grooming and how it takes places in several churches, and he's speaking from the black church perspective as a black man himself, and how there are layers to grooming that is very active in the church where, they talk about what you like, what turns you on, what gets you going when you are somebody young heading into the church and being mentored, and then, of course, somebody of a stature like TD Jakes or a pastor who has influence can easily put out a statement and, forget about everything.
And then from there it goes into stage two. And stage two is where it begins to become sexual. And it first starts by either making facetious jokes, making little statements, innuendos, and then it goes into the questions of what turns you on? What do you like sexually? You need to tell me this because I need to know, because I need to be able to pray for you. So it's almost like a psychological power game that they're playing with you. And in your head, if you say something wrong, they project it on you. They body shame you. Oh, you're too sexual. Oh, look at your body. Oh, you're the one that's making me do this. Oh, you. And so you have that in the back of your head. And then you also have in their head of their dumb, misinformed followers who are pushing this predatory narrative because they're so in awe with either trying to be like them, either worshiping them, or not worshiping God, or worshiping their denomination or where they come from. And so they're not even there seeing with the eyes of truth, but they're there seeing out of carnality. And so they're sitting up there and they're protecting them. And the leader, the bishop, the pastor, they know this. And so they know and they feel invisible.
People will just listen to him. I do think there is this blind alliance that people in religious entities do follow the religious superiors above them when it comes to people in mosques, churches, temples, synagogues. And when you are blindly following somebody, it can be quite dangerous because you should think for yourself. But in large groups, people don't really do that. They think as a group as opposed to independently. And I feel like people in those positions who groom the young boys know this. They know the psychological dynamics of groups. They know the religious power that they have, and they absolutely abuse it left, right, and center.
Oh, I can get away with this. I just have to make a statement to my church. I just have to tell them, and they're never going to question. Why is it so many people? Why is it always coming up? Why is everybody lying? So everybody's lying. Where there's a mouse, there's mice. And then it goes into the third stage. And the third stage is where they try to become intimate with you. And if you do not allow this, they drop you. They treat you like you're nothing. And they abandon that young male or that young woman. But from my experience, I can only speak from a young male point of view. They abandon that young male and they treat them like they're nothing because they didn't acquiesce to what they wanted sexually. And they look for another victim. And they know they can get away with it because their followers are not people that love the Lord. They worship the pastor. They worship the bishop. So they're not seeking for truth. And so this is the day and age that we're in. And I still believe that there are believers that do not worship personalities, so to speak. They don't care who you are. I don't care if you're bishop this, prophet this, apostle that. But they really love the Lord. And so they really are worshiping the spirit of truth, which is Jesus. And they really are about that. And so they can see past that. I want to say to victims that might not have a platform or might feel like you're going to be judged, so you can't say nothing, because this is what they try to tell you. You're going to be judged. You can't say nothing. You're sowing seed of tear. You know, God is the judge. Yeah, we know God is the judge, but God judges people also through legal systems. God judges people also through other people. There's a group of Christians, and we're here, and we believe in you, and we're here to support you. And if you've been feeling in your heart that you can't say nothing, now's the time for you to speak out. There's still a remnant group of Christians that are not worshiping celebrities. They're not worshiping how big someone's conference is, who they are, or their name, or their notoriety, but they believe in truth, and they're here for you. And I'm not a victim, but I am someone that is speaking truth to help victims that have experienced this, to say, we see you. And there's a group of Christians, men and women of God, that are the true men and women of God, that are here to pray for you. Some of the biggest monsters are right in front of your face, and they manipulate their pulpit to push their nasty agenda, and their followers are duplicitous to it.
So for the fact that a former mentee of TD Jakes, somebody who knew TD Jakes, is now speaking up about grooming whilst TD Jakes is going through his allegations, to me is very interesting. He's not flat out coming saying that TD has done X, Y, Z or that he's guilty, but him having this conversation about grooming, the layers of it that it takes place in the church whilst TD is facing his allegations, and just breaks the silence. The timing to me, is not coincidental, and I definitely feel like he knows things that have taken place that he does not want to, or is choosing not to speak on at this time. But I think that it is interesting that a former mentee of TD is speaking up in regards to the violence of grooming when it comes to young, boys of color, and how it is very dangerous. So it is interesting. Make of this clip what you will. I do think people will begin to speak out. We all know the story of Eddie Long, how he condemned so much, and how, people were asked for the fact that, forgive him or whatever, or, I don't know what people were saying at the time, but what about the young black boys that he had harmed and groomed and abused so much so, and, their lives? And I just feel like we forget them and how awful that situation was. So no matter how convincing Eddie Long appeared or how convincing TD appears, it doesn't mean that they are suddenly innocent. But at the same time, there's no physical proof of TD being guilty, so only time will tell. But it is interesting that there was a YouTuber who spoke out in 2 videos that I discussed, and how she knew somebody who was a mentor, and now a former mentee is also speaking up. All of this timing to me is very odd, guys. That is something that you can't, that we can just agree with. One thing that I want people to take away from this TD Jake stuff is a reminder to really take care of the young boys when they are in these religious entities. Number 1, that is the main message. And number 2 is that this does not just happen in churches. It does not just happen to in Christianity, in the religion within itself, or in the churches. It's not just in churches, and I don't want people to think it only happens in churches, because it happens in all religious entities. It transcends. It really transcends. Subscribe to the channel. Click that button, guys. Make of this what you will. Very interesting update indeed. Subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon.